Irkutsk. Winter. The mid-1980s. The city was living its ordinary life. People were returning home, children were walking back from school, and doctors were responding to emergency calls. But for several years, something had been happening in the city that people were afraid to talk about. Children were disappearing, elderly women were dying, and the man who would eventually find himself at the center of this nightmare looked completely ordinary. His name was Vasily Kulik. Kulik was born on January 17, 1956, in Irkutsk. He grew up in an intellectual family. His father was a professor and taught at Irkutsk University. Later, Vasily chose medicine, a white coat, textbooks, a hospital. From the outside, it looked like a completely ordinary life. After graduating, he began working as an ambulance doctor, and it was here that he gained something most people never had: access to other people's homes, other people's apartments, other people's trust. In 1984, the first of the crimes that would later be linked to Kulik took place in Irkutsk. His victims were children and elderly women. Some of the elderly women had already been his patients. He could know where they lived, know about their condition, know that they were alone. And the most frightening part was that from the outside, everything looked like an ordinary medical visit. After one of those visits, a woman was found dead, but her death was not connected to a serial killer. Not until there were too many similar cases. Irkutsk began to live in fear. Parents walked their children home. Doors were locked with several locks. Police patrols appeared on the streets. Wanted notices spread throughout the city. But no one knew for certain what the killer looked like, because the murderer could look like someone you would willingly open your door to. During the day, Kulik continued working. He responded to calls, talked to people, and provided medical care. He even received letters of appreciation for his work. But after his shift, the city became something different for him: an ordinary doctor, and a man the police could not yet imagine as a suspect. Over 2 years, the number of victims reached 13. 6 children, 7 elderly women. The youngest victim was about 2.5 years old. The oldest was 75. Investigators began looking for a pattern: dates, places, time, and gradually coincidences began to emerge from the chaos. The investigation was getting closer to a man no one wanted to suspect: a doctor. On January 17, 1986, Vasily Kulik turned 30 years old, and on that very day, his life as a free man came to an end. During another attack, he was noticed by random passers-by. They intervened and managed to stop him. The ambulance doctor was suddenly on the other side of the table. During questioning, he confessed to the murders. Later, in court, he retracted those confessions. Investigators had to verify his statements again and gather evidence. The story turned out to be far more horrifying than it had seemed at first. Kulik was found guilty of 13 murders and numerous sexual offenses. The court sentenced him to the highest form of punishment, the death penalty. But the story did not end on the day of the trial. On June 26, 1989, the sentence was carried out. Vasily Kulik was 33 years old. But perhaps the most frightening thing about this story is not that the killer turned out to be a doctor. It is how long the people around him saw nothing more than an ordinary man.